So I'm currently at the moment getting through the figures that come in the Cthulhu Death May Die um, game, and this is where I am today. I'm not far off. I've only got Cthulhu to go after that. But what with that and that Stuka build, it's distracted me from Games Workshop. But sometimes you need a break, and so I've come back. And what we've got here, the box says it's Flesh Eater Court's Terrorgeist, but you can sometimes build the monsters in a different way. This is definitely a Soulblight Gravelord Zombie Dragon. Now, the thing about this model is I want to do this because I haven't got a monster yet for the for my Soulblight Gravelords. So I want a monster. I've made this model before. I know I've made this model before. I remember these wings and I remember this pillar, because this pillar was spare for quite a long time. And I think in the end I just chucked it, because what use have I got for that? I know I've made this model a very, very long time ago, but I can't remember what for. It might have been, thinking about it, it might have been, yeah, if it was a long time ago, it would have only been for one thing, and that would have been my Nurgle army, because back then all I made was Nurgle. So I'm guessing I bought this once. There's half of its head, but I don't really remember that. Oh, I remember the skulls on the chains. Yeah, I've made this before, but a very, very long time ago. Okay, so I'm going to get started soon. This is going to be it's going to be quite fun to do, because, as I say, I've done what, 5 or 6 modelling projects on the Cthulhu figures, and all they involve is spraying them with primer and painting them. The Stuka was a real world aircraft, so I haven't actually built anything fantasy for quite a while. So this is what I'm going to do. This is the fella. This is the Zombie Dragon. That's the other one. Oh, there's 2. There's a Terrorgeist and a Borant Ghoul King on Terrorgeist and a Borant Ghoul King. Don't want any of them. I want this fella. All right. Oh, you can do a Vampire Lord. Do you get the Vampire Lord with this? I think that's one of the figures that's just about to be discontinued, because there's a new updating of the Soulblight Gravelords soon. I don't think you do. Yeah, but I've had an assurance that this model's not going to go away, because I don't want to start on a model and then it becomes redundant. This is an old kit. I mean, look, it's the old scoring thing. Or is that? I can't remember. Sorry, I've just got back from London and I'm all frazzled. But this was on my letterbox, so I thought I would get started. So yeah, ramble over. I'm doing a Zombie Dragon. It doesn't look like the guys come with it. I don't care. Oh, he does. That abhorrent thing. I don't care. This is the one I'm doing, and I've got ideas. It's a shame that it's just the standard when you get a mail order Games Workshop kit. There is no colour box, because colour wise I wanted to show you what I'm not going to do. All right, so this whole first page gets you this, and it's pretty nifty. It's proper 3D now. You can get all the way in there, although how I'm going to get in there to paint all that, I really don't know. All right, second page is for the Terrorgeist, which I'm not doing. So you have to skip quite a bit to get to the Zombie Dragon. All right, and this whole thing here gets you this here. Okay, its head is quite different from the other one. The other one is clearly got a bat origin. Now, what I don't like this is that you can see right the way through the skull and out the other side. Fair enough with the nostrils, but not with the eye sockets. All right. This is a zombie, right? it still has to see. It hasn't got eyeballs. So I intend to actually make eyeballs for this. I'm either going to use beads if I've got the right size beads. I've got a load of beads left over from when I used to make my rusty bots. They would be good for stringing together to make arms and legs. So I might have a bead the right size. If not, I'll just make up a couple of balls of milliput. So all of that gets you that, which has now got to stick on that, like that. And then it's just a few more bits on, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's pretty much him. I'll come back and let you know. So the next step was very fiddly. You've got to stick these two ribcage spiny bits on the top part of the spine, and that's a bit of a faff to actually get them to fit in there between the top of the spine and his hip bone, which is jutting out. But I've done that. And the next thing you've got to do is stick these 4 meaty bits on. And these are the 4 joining points for the 2 wings and the 2 legs. So I thought it'd be safer to actually glue them on and leave it overnight. I can't risk attaching anything if those joints aren't completely solid. So I did that. And then the next step is stick the legs on. Well, I've stuck one on because the join point between the leg and the hip is tiny, absolutely tiny. So I figure it's better to put one on and wait for that to go really hard before joining the next one on. But I have gone a bit further because I've turned the page and I've done silly little things like sticking 2 claws on the wing, etc., etc. So I'm not at this bit, but I've gone further because you've also got this affair. You've got to stick 2 halves of rocks together and then stick this to it with a claw there, because his left wing is going to be resting on it. All right. So I've started on that. Where have they gone? Where have they gone? They're here somewhere. Well, they are here. Well, oh no, there we go. So hopefully I haven't lost them. But yeah, that's his claws on top of the rock. You had to stick that claw on. I mean, I know we need something to do when you make a model, but I need something a bit more exciting than that. And this business, 3 pieces to make a rock, which looked to just be behind the dragon, I'm not bothering with. I mean, 3 pieces for a rock that you're not going to see because it's under the dragon. So I'm not going to bother. Couple more things I hadn't spotted, but yeah, when you get to the end, normally you've got all your stats and everything for the different versions. And I didn't look any further, but if you go right to the end, you get the parts to make the abhorrent, and you get the parts to make the Vampire Lord. And I know that because, yeah, look, the Vampire Lord bits are there, the abhorrent bits are there. I'm not going to use either. All right. It does mean though that if I'm using neither, he's going to look a bit daft. I hadn't realised, but he's actually got a throne up there. I just wanted a zombie dragon. I wish this throne thing had been an optional extra, but it's not. Oh, and the other thing is, yeah, I've out of milliput, I've just made some eyeballs. All right. So yeah, when that leg's set, I'll glue the other leg. And hopefully by this afternoon, I've got everything assembled and on its base, and I can start priming. Okay, with the primer on, that gap all the way down there was pretty bad. So I put green stuff on it. And I put it on quite thick, as you can see, and I haven't bothered cleaning it up because that's going to be more flesh hanging on the bones. All right. Just about to do the bones, but what I've done is I've just gone in there where I can to get some fleshiness going on inside. The question I've had to ask myself is, what is bone and what isn't. And I've come up with the answer, not much. It's hard to tell on this model just where bone ends and skin starts. I mean, there, fair enough, all right, fair enough. But is this meant to be bone here? I'm guessing yes. Rib cage, yes. That bit there, yes, all right. But when it comes to the wings, I see this painted that this is all bone. But how can it be if the membranes are still there, right? That doesn't make much sense. So on my dragon, there's not an awful lot of bone. I've done just like the top of both wings and a bit there, right? And the bits poking through the skin there, and that bit under there, and his kneecaps are exposed, and the back of the second knee is done. And the rest is going to be flesh. Also, I've decided I'm going to make a deliberate distinction between the skeleton bone and the bone of the horns. These are going to be a different colour to the skeleton because that's a skeleton and these are horns, so they're going to be a different colour. These, all the way down his spine, right? Yeah, as you can see, it's still wet. You see it's still pooling. This is a contrast. This is gut ripper flesh. I'm going to have a green dragon, I've decided. My Soulblight army is main colour is red, but there's going to be an awful lot of redness in this with all the exposed skin, and I'm going to gore him up as well, I think. So this is gut ripper flesh, which is the lighter of the two greens, and next I'm going to put on militarium green and see how that looks. Right, it's only a day later, but there's been quite a bit of progress. So I painted the skin areas militarium green, and that gave me a green dragon, which is fine. It looked nice, but it wasn't saying zombie to me. So what I've done is I've gone over both the light and darker greens with Athonian camo shade, and also I was mixing in, you can see some of it there in the middle membrane, some fleshy tones. These are all contrast paints that I was putting on, okay, to just darken it all down. And I'm going to go even further. I really want to convey that this is an undead zombie, so I've got to work on the tears and the rips in its membranes. And then also what I've done is the meaty areas, the exposed flesh and muscle and sinew, I've painted in a pinky fleshy colour. All right, I've done the mouth. I've just got to pick out the tongue in a purple. And just to gauge how things are going, I've painted the claws and the horns and the back spines in Army Painter Skeleton Bone. As I say, I want them to be a different colour to the bone of the skull and the ribs, etc. So this is pretty much all the colours on now. And now I'm going to start putting, I think the next step is deal with the horns and the spines and get them all ready to go. I think what I'll do is I'll get everything ready before I start applying reds to gore this fella up. All right, so that's all the horns are done. Hope you can make that out. All right, the horns are all done. The seat is done, even though I don't like it. And we're ready to start. Oh, and I've done the chains as well. And we're ready to start goring up. Okay, and it's been a long time since I've done this. It's back to my Nurgle days. But I'm going to go the route that I always used to back then, which is apply thinly and build up. So first thing is put a thin wash of gore on and see what it looks like. All right, so first pass is to get some blood for the blood god, put it on my palette, and then water it right down and splodge it on, and then occasionally put a little bit more of the paint on the brush. So some of it goes on thicker, but most of it is going pinky. All right, I just want to stain it for now, and I've made sure I'm doing it all down where the skin meets the bone. All right, so that's first pass. Next, I'm going in with a smaller brush with it neat and going along the edges and stuff, getting those eyeballs. Those eyeballs are far too clean at the moment. Okay, so the light is making the red look a lot brighter than it actually is. It's not that bright. So nearly there. I put on the stronger clear red, Blood for the Blood God, and I don't know if you can see in there, but I've mixed up some Rattling Grime with that Berserker red, and I've doled down. This sunlight is quite incredible. There you can see it. Just to make them look grottier. It does look a lot grottier in real life than this. I think I'm almost done. I've got somewhere, where is it? There we go. I've also been doing his other claws. I've just got to paint that rock and then glue that on in, and then put scatter material, paint that, do the eye, and we're done. So I will return with it done, and hopefully the light will be better. All right, one last bit before the end. So that's put that on. I just got to pick out the pupil in the eye, gloss it, and of course paint all the base, and then I'm done. Okay, with the eyeball finished and glossed, I'm pretty much done. I'm pleased with how that eyeball came out. I wanted a Shin Godzilla look to it to make it look odd and peculiar, and I think I've achieved that. So very happy with how this Zombie Dragon's come out. But as of recording, I finished it this morning. I'm videoing it now, and word is coming out that Zombie Dragons as a standalone won't exist in the new Soulblight's Gravelords book. Bit of a bugger, but I've enjoyed making him, and he'll look good on the shelf. I suppose I could increase the base size and use him as a proxy thing. I don't know, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the challenge of goring up a creature, which I haven't done for a very long time. So that's me done with the Zombie Dragon.